Hi everyone! At this point you should have finished reading the short story that your group chose to read in 2.6, and that means that you are ready to start working on the story analysis worksheet in your packet. This is 2.6 step 1. In this video I'm going to walk you through exactly how to fill out this worksheet and then show you an example of a worksheet that is already filled out. So the first thing that you need to do, super easy, just write down the title of the story that you all read and the name of the author. The next step is to write a short author biography. Biography basically just means telling us about someone's life. And so you are going to go to Google and type the name of the author of your story into Google, and then find some information about who they are. Some things that you could include are what other stories and books has this author written and published? What was their education? Where did they go to college, or how did they learn or get trained how to be a writer? And then find some information about their personal life, like where do they live? Are they alive still? Are they dead? Are they married? Do they have children? This is the kind of information we want to include in the biography of the author. Next, you are going to write a short story summary. So a summary, remember, is telling us the key important events that happened in your story. In your summary, tell us who the main characters are in your story, where the story takes place, so what is the setting, and what happens in the beginning, middle, and end of this story. After you complete the story summary, I want you to move on to perspective or point of view. So for this, you're going to have to look at who is narrating or telling us this story. What is the point of view, or whose perspective are we seeing? I also want you to think about, does their perspective change at all from the beginning of the story to the end of the story? And how would this story be different if it was told from a different perspective or a different point of view? Finally, the last thing on your story analysis worksheet is something called theme. So theme means like a deeper universal message of the story. Universal means that it's something that could apply to my life or your life, or really anyone's life who is reading this story. And it kind of makes us think about a deeper question or message. So we want you to identify one or two themes from your story and tell us how you know that this is the theme. So really spend some time thinking about theme and talking about it with your group in order to identify what the theme of your story might be. So now I want to show you an example of a story analysis worksheet that is already completed and filled out. So as you see, this story analysis worksheet is about the story Spider the Artist. And this is a story that we read before winter break. So I went ahead and Googled the author of Spider the Artist. Her name is Nnedi Okorafor. And I found out some information about her life, that she was born in 1974. She is a Nigerian-American writer of fantasy and science fiction. So it could be a good thing to include the genre that your author writes. We learn a little bit about her parents. They're from Nigeria, but she was born in Ohio and she went to college in Michigan. Here's where I talk about all the other things that Nnedi Okorafor has written. So she's published lots of books and stories other than Spider the Artist as well. Then I have a little more information about her education and her personal life, that she has a daughter, she lives in Arizona. So this is the short author biography. Then you move on to the story summary. Remember, the summary is going to tell us who the main character is, what the setting of the story is, and some key important events. So obviously we talk about the narrator, Eme, the woman who lives in the village. She has a husband who beats her and she plays guitar. And then we go through and talk about the key events, that she becomes friends with a spider robot, and eventually the pipeline explodes and everyone dies, except for Eme, because the spider zombie protects her. So you can see, remember, Spider the Artist was a longer story, right? And this is a pretty long summary. So your summary should also be at least 5 sentences telling us what's happening in your story. Perspective or point of view. Spider the Artist is told from the point of view of a young married woman in Nigeria named Eme. So right away we know whose perspective this story is told from. Something that I want to point out in perspective here is that I talk about how she changes her perspective over the course of the story. At the beginning of the story, Emme's perspective is that the spider zombies are all evil and bad and dangerous, right? But then she ends up meeting one of the spider zombies and they bond over music, and she really changes her perspective that the spider zombies can actually be good, right? So this is an important thing to point out for perspective. Finally, I want to talk about theme. Remember, theme is like a deeper universal message of the story. So I looked at two themes in Spider the Artist. One is the power of art or music. So we know that Emme is able to befriend one of the spider robots because she uses her guitar playing and music to really bond with the zombie and kind of like bridge the differences between them. And this love of music that connects them is actually what ends up saving her life. So we see that art is really, really powerful. And this is like a deeper message or theme of the story. The second theme we can see in Spider the Artist is the dangers of technology, right? These spider zombies were created by humans, but they've gained enough of their own intelligence that they have the power to destroy everyone at the end of the story. So these are two examples of themes, and I want you to think about what the deeper message of your story could be as well. This is also posted on Schoology if you want to look back at the answers in order to figure out how to answer your own questions. But right now, I want you to, with your group, fill out the story analysis worksheet in your packet. Let me know if you have any questions.